Well everyone, it's been a pretty nice last few days for me. I now have a new nephew, and we're going to play more Mario Sunshine. And one of the things, actually, that I've done in the past few days is watch a Mario Sunshine speedrun, which, as I said earlier in the LP, watching speedruns is not really something that I do very often, for reasons unknown, because it was actually highly entertaining to watch. It was by Bouncy Boy. It was an any percent run for SGDQ, and it was just fascinating, not only seeing all the crazy maneuvers that he pulled off, but also knowing that some of the things that I've done in this playthrough, whether by accident or not, were speedrunning strats. For example, let's see, there was the cage shine sprite going up to the door on the underside by hovering off of the crane. Then there was that weird accidental thing that I did in Noki Bay, where I skipped the cutscene. That's something that saves apparently like 5 or 10 seconds. I don't know how long it was, but still a pretty decent amount of time for speedrunning purposes. Let's see, I'm gonna just bounce off because I don't want to... These are a little bit annoying. This is actually, no, why didn't you grab? Maybe you can't grab whenever they're recovering? I don't know. This is a mission that I did not understand as a child, and I had to look up how to beat it on... I think Neo Seeker was the website of choice for walkthroughs at the time. Whoops, that did not happen? I mean, it did happen, but I wish that it hadn't. Grab. No. Yeah, I've cooled its head off more than once, Flood. You don't have to be a Zelda partner here. Alright, there we go. That's okay. Let's see, there was something else. Oh yeah, my suspicions about there being a way to skip past the Casino Delfino flip panels in Serena Beach was correct. There is apparently a way to clip through the wall above the flip panels in on some ledge, which is not really surprising with this game, but yeah, I'm glad that there's a lot of RNG abuse, or a lot of RNG stuff that you can just skip there, not abuse. I mean, there's plenty of RNG abuse in speedruns, which is crazy how that works. I don't know. I think watching that speedrun kind of reminded me of why I love this game, in a way. It's something that I already was aware of, but remember, always be kind to your pets by drowning them in a pool of water. That's good pet advice. Good pet care. Oh, also, I like the way the shine sprites look at night. They're really pretty. Let me get a closer look. Yeah, it's not quite the usual colors. It doesn't have as much orange to it. It's nice. I like it. Nose! Smash the nose. I don't enjoy my nose. The way it snots everywhere. Snot Pilgrim. But yeah, as far as this game goes... Well, I watched the Mario Sunshine any percent speedrun, which, by the way, the mission that we're about to do, Il Piantissimo's Crazy Climb, is one of the funnier ones in that run to watch. So I recommend it. I watched a few other speedruns, or at least parts of them, in other... afterwards. That was not a sentence. First was, I think, Kirby Squeak Squad. I watched a little bit of that one. And then Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which they have their tricks here and there. They have their glitches and weirdness. I'm going to stop and clean this sign during the race. Tortoise and a hare situation, because I have to get one of the stupidest blue coins in the game. I think I'll still manage. There's the trick for running up the tree really fast, where if you do a dive and then a jump, you run much faster. That worked out. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, well with those games, with the Kirby game and the Mario and Luigi, I feel like they're much less interesting to watch even though they have their craziness, because mostly they kind of lock you to a certain speed. Those games do, the way that you play them, so it doesn't really seem all that different from, say, just playing a game really fast but casually. I don't know. It looked like a casual playthrough without someone... Well, I don't want to... I don't know what the word is. I don't want to seem like I'm devaluing the effort that the speedrunners put into playing these games. It's just that visually it's not as interesting to watch, I guess. But Super Mario Sunshine, there's all sorts of stuff that you can do to get from point A to point B, and there's lots of speed variation, there's lots of tricky jumps that you can make, there's just lots of strategies, and I enjoy that about it. Also, this level, or this mission, I don't know what to call them anymore. This is a particularly noteworthy mission, because we don't have Flood, that was taken away from us, and we're not even in a secret stage. This is just the level, and it's covered in fiery goop. There are definitely several ways of going through this level to get to the golden mushroom in the, not the center, but the near center over there, behind that tree. Well, you can't see it because the tree is in the way, but one of the methods for cheesing this level is running across this rail, which is easier than you would think, climbing up the tree, running up, and then doing a careful jump over to the mushroom. A way that I found myself, which is really stupid and not really recommended, is, well, I'll get to it. Lots of mushrooms here to slide on, apparently. And yet another Flaming Pianta, Placenta. Flaming Placenta. Good name for a band. Well, lots of good band names. Anyways. Whenever you walk out of the water, you have a little bit of splashing drippiness, and you can use that to get rid of some of the goop. So, what I would try to do, whenever I didn't feel like doing this level the normal way, is splash a bunch of goop right around here, the closest spot to the end of the stage, which it works. It's not the most reliable thing in the world, but it does work. And I'm not going to stick with this. I'm going to go back and try to do this level the normal way. I'm just, yeah, pointing out that that's the way that I would do it. I mean, that's not the way that I would recommend doing it. It's just the way that I have done it in the past. Which I'm sort of proud of, but at the same time I'm not, because the only reason that I did it that way in the first place was I felt frustrated having to do it the convoluted way every time, even though the convoluted way is... it's the point. You're doing something that should be pretty easy any other way, but there's this whole roundabout way instead that you have to do it. Ooh, good line of coins. Good Pider-Man. I don't know. Yeah, here is the intended path. The Pianta next to the hole that you go down into says, I think this is the right way to go. And then he points out that these things here... I hate my nose. Why does my nose have to be so nasally? Why does it have to be a nose? Yeah, he points out that those panels, they fall. So you don't want to stay on them too long. I like this stage. Thinking back to my whole reason that I like this game so much, I think that if you stripped this game away of practically all of its elements, except for... Wait a minute, what am I doing? This is not where I want to go. I'm forgetting my place. I'm forgetting my purpose. I think if you stripped this game away of all of the things that indicate forward progression, like if you took away all of the shine sprites, all of the coins, anything that counts as a goal, then it would still be a fun game. It would still be enjoyable as... if you just had the debug room and nothing else, it would still be fun for a pretty good long while. And I have seen the debug room. There are videos of it. It is pretty fancy. It's not that fancy. No, actually thinking about that, there are these enemies in the debug room, or that you can activate in the debug room, that I guess must still be in the game's coding, but they were from the beta of the game, and there are these, well, they sort of look like whatever those enemies are with the big noses that are really short, and I guess are not quite Goombas, but they're kind of like Goombas. Maybe they're like the Bert the Bashful from Bert the Bashful's Fort in Yoshi's Story, or Yoshi's Island, rather. Those things, it looks like one of those, kind of, except it has really long legs, and it's way larger than anything else in the game. So it seems kind of unnatural, but it's... I don't know, those exist in the game's coding, apparently. And, on a different note, now I feel like I should get hurt in order to show this point. The health meter in this game is yellow, or yellowish-orange, and in the beta, this game's health meter was red, sort of a red shadow with an 8 in the middle of it, and the 8 would go down to 7, 6, etc. if you lose some health. Which I think, I'm glad that they changed that, even though it looked like a nice HP bar, because I think that visibly seeing bars get taken away is a better indication of, a better visual indicator of losing health, in terms of just feedback for the player. And then Delfino Plaza was entirely different in the Space Mountain E3 demo, or whatever it was. This stupid bird. I hate the chicken. I have bad memories of those kinds of chickens in Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Completing that game 100% was one of my greatest feats in gaming. At least in my opinion. I'm probably never going to do it again, because I don't feel like it. It's hard enough the first time. Let's see, that was mission 3. Yeah, I think I want to do 1.5 more. But yeah, Delfino Plaza, if nobody knows about this, Delfino Plaza was originally based on Santorini, Greece, which is a beautiful place that I would like to visit someday because of just how beautiful it is. Already sprayed the spine. Did I spray the spine? Yeah, I did. Mostly, it's a place that is all... It's a city on the side of a cliff. Maybe not a cliff, but it's a city on a big hill next to the ocean. And it's all pure white, made of calcite, I guess. And I'm just gonna wait for this guy to get angry again. I think he goes whatever direction that you don't. Like, if you're on a path, then he will automatically not choose that path. So if I stand here, he should turn the other way. Yeah, that seems right. Supposedly there's a lot of RNG with this, this area, but I'm not sure if that's actually true or not. Spray, spray, spray. Just like my original playthrough of this game, I'm just gonna keep saying spray over and over again and say nothing more interesting. Okay. Back to Santorini, though. It's this beautiful place. Lots of white, some blue here and there. It's the most pure-looking place that I can imagine. And it really does exist. And then Delfino Plaza was originally going to be like that, where it's kind of on a hillside. But I think that would have been... as cool as it looks in the videos, I guess it wouldn't have been as convenient for navigation, but I still kind of wish that there was a way to go into it as some kind of secret map. Gotta love how that chain chomp turns gold, by the way. Apparently that one's naturally gold, and the black is just 101 Dalmatians soot. Oh boy. Stupid nose. I hate my nose. Why does my nose have to be a nose? Wish I could just be Voldemort with no nose. Except he probably still gets his slits where his nose would be clogged sometimes. No idea. Yeah, the reason I said that I'm gonna get, like, a half shine here, or I'm gonna do half of the mission, is I'm going to be getting 100 coins and a few blue coins, just like last time. Shaking up the whole... shaking up the whole dynamic of this LP, where instead of actually finishing with a shine, like a normal one, I just do something boring instead, although I still think that this game's most tedious aspects are still less tedious than most games with their tedium. I should totally go into another Breath of the Wild rant, except no, I won't. I just, that's a game that is not necessarily for me. Well, I mean, I know it's not for me. I just don't see what other people see in it, basically. How did I not see these coins over here? Yeah, this is, perhaps not the best mission for 100 coins, but it is a pretty decent one. You just have to remember that these coins are over here, and I'm gonna try to get those if I can. Not sure what the best path is. Let's see. Oh boy. Wait, I want to go backwards. Thank you. What is the best way to do this? I guess I can hover, that's regular old hover. It's fine, works well enough. Still don't know where that M below the area is. On the underside of this island. I would like to, but maybe it only appears in Mission 8? That's my guess. I missed one, but that'll be good enough. Oh boy, I did not remember that happening. Even though I think I said earlier that that happens. Okay, let's do this again with less failure this time. Oop. And don't kill me, Piter. I am pretty sure that is not what they're called. I mean, they're called Clammers. But I call them Piters because... Batman and Pyreman. I would quote that if I remembered any of the lines. Something about sandwiches, maybe? I have no idea. And then, randomly, I'm thinking back to when someone took a video that I no longer have on my channel, where I said sandwich in a stupid way. I don't know if I can replicate that right now because my nose is being a jerk, but... took that, had it repeat for an hour, and uploaded that as a video. Good video, I like it. Okay, what did Yoshi want? A pineapple, I believe. A pineapple. A napple pie. Yes. I've said before that I don't like this stage as much as others because it's possible to fall off, which might be a bit of a dumb reason, but one of the things that I do like about it is that whenever you fall off, whenever you're using Yoshi, I don't know if it's exclusive to using Yoshi, but there is a chance, and this has happened to me once or twice, of just getting stuck on the bottom of the pit. Like, wait, I'm going the wrong way entirely. For my purposes, anyway. Yeah, the pit has a certain point, a certain zone where you die, but it's also sometimes solid for some reason, and you can just walk around down there. At least if you have Yoshi, and maybe if you have Mario by himself, I'm not positive. So, it's pretty useless, but it's also kind of funny. And it's moments like that where you kind of have to admire when a game is not programmed as well as it could be. There's something to be said about a really well-programmed game, like always doing what you want it to, and never freaking out whenever you don't want it to, but it's moments like that that make me think, you know what, I like glitchy games. Donkey Kong 64 has some nice glitchiness to it. That's not the reason that I like that game, but it helps. So has anyone else eaten bees today? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm eating bees. Gotta love eating bees. Or eating nails. Thinking back now to... Has anyone else watched Arthur? Because Arthur is a show that I used to watch a whole lot as a kid. In first grade mostly, I think. And I recall a part when... It was the episode where Mr. Ratburn was feeling sick or something, and he had his sister as a substitute teacher. And all the students were like, oh no, Ratburn has a sister? She's probably even worse than Mr. Ratburn is, imagine that. And then there's this imagination sequence where they're picturing, like, Mr. Ratburn and Mrs. Ratburn. I don't know, that's not the right term. But brother and sister... as kids, eating nails like cereal. Well, maybe not nails, I think it was nails and screws. The weirdest picture, I guess, but that always stood out to me. And another stupid thing to go on about is, I used to think that in the intro to Arthur they were saying, where we can learn to work and play and get along with each Arthur, instead of each other. Just like all of the other reindeer. I used to think the Pledge of Allegiance was about me, Richard Stans. I used to think that too. Instead of which it stands, always thought it said Richard. Oh boy. Is that the second time in this playthrough where Yoshi has died in the middle of me trying to eat a whole bunch of bees? I think it is. What does Yoshi even want? I don't know. This episode might go a little bit long because I'm just being a putz. Putsying around and being a klutz. And klutzying around and being a foot. Just foot. I didn't even register what Yoshi wanted there. I think it was banana. That's what I'm gonna guess. And if I'm wrong, then I am a banana. Except I'm not appealing. Which bees was I eating again? I think it was these over here. Yeah, I know that people in other countries eat bugs. I don't think they're alive at the time. Maybe some of them are. I can't really imagine that. I also can't imagine eating calamari, which... I don't know what would make that so different from something like crawfish, but... I think it's just the fact that whenever you put salt on salt on the calamari tentacles, then they wriggle around like they're alive. But then again, I think that sometimes people do eat things that are alive, and I can't picture that at all. Like, I don't mind if something is already dead whenever I eat it. I'm not a vegan myself. I can kind of understand the mentality of people who are, but it's just not my thing. Alright, I want to stick with my... what is it? My pattern of getting exactly 100 coins to end off a 100 coin shine, so that's what I'm going to do now. Hopefully I don't screw it up. Oh, that's convenient. It's just right there. I thought I was going to have to go across the entire countryside in order to get the shine. How do I get off Yoshi again? I don't remember. Okay, apparently it's the X button. And now one more pretty shine for the road. I will see you next time when we tackle one of the worst shines in the game for some people. See you then.